We all know that artificial intelligence is here to stay. And yet, at the same time, I'm still seeing so many agents out there using it like a Google search, or they're writing listing descriptions. And that's the only use case that they can see for AI. But what a lot of people are missing out there, and this is the discussion we're going to have today, is how AI is actually being used to run your business, help you with administrative tasks, and buy back your time. This is going to be a great conversation. I have a great guest that's going to help me with that today. Scott Tolar is joining me today on the podcast. He is not only an active real estate agent himself, so he's in the trenches with us. He's also been a past broker owner for multiple locations. He's a Glover U coach, and he's logged over 7,000 one-on-one conversations with agents. So you guys are in the right place with our guest speaker today, because he is full of knowledge. But more than that, he is coming from the perspective that he has gone all in on artificial intelligence. So every time I've seen him speak at different conferences, he's always leading the discussion around AI. I've learned a ton, and I can't wait for you guys to learn a ton. Scott, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cameron. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here too, because like I said, I mean, you've been talking about AI now for several years. Actually, it's something that kind of came up during COVID. It's kind of really gained popularity, I would say, in the last 3 years with ChatGPT coming out, and agents got so excited because we could start writing listing descriptions for us. We didn't have to be creative anymore. But it is far beyond that. So, what's some of the conversations you've been having recently with agents when it comes to artificial intelligence? Let's just dive right into it.
You're right, and especially some of those early days with the descriptions that ChatGPT would come up with for MLS listings. Looking back at that now, it was like having a kindergartner write a lot of those things, because so many of them sounded exactly the same. Because I think the prompts that people were using, and I think the way that it was writing those things was like literally every real estate transaction is exactly the same. And
Yeah.
those of us who are on the ground, we know there is no such thing as every real estate transaction or every property being exactly the same. So, yeah, you brought that back to my mind for just a second. It was funny to think that yes, that is the way that most agents were using it, and there's still a lot of agents out there. I think we could argue that think that that is like the pinnacle of
Yeah.
what AI can be used for. But really, there's so much more to it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
while a lot of people look at me and say that I'm an expert on this, I got to be honest with you, Cameron. There's some days where I go to bed and I think I've made it to fifth grade, and I wake up the next morning and I feel like I'm in kindergarten again, just because so much has changed literally overnight with
Yeah.
new models that have come out, new programs that are out there, new ways to use it that people have literally programmed AI to now create for them. What are the different use cases that I can create here? And then they create plugins that we can go and use literally overnight. So, yeah, I mean, I sometimes I'm an expert, sometimes I'm in kindergarten again. It just depends on the day of the week and the time of the day.
And you know, I think what kind of defines an expert is the fact that you're actively using it, and that's that. I agree with you completely. At the end of the day, for sure. Like while you might be in grade five, going back down to kindergarten, I feel like I'm in kindergarten some days, going back to just like sucking on the bottle when it comes to what is going on with AI, because it does
Yeah.
change rapidly. But I think the biggest difference is that you are actively, at the minute you hit kindergarten again, you're learning what's different and trying to figure out how you can implement it, get back to that grade five level before the next major change, right?
Well, Cameron, you've got to, because I, I think it was Jeff Bezos who put it like this. He said, "You've got horizontal and you've got vertical." And the way that Jeff Bezos explained it was the iPhone is a vertical product.
Hmm.
And what it means is when it came out, it created demand, but demand specifically for a segment that was created, which is cellular service, right? And
Right.
then can your iPhone do a whole lot of other things? Absolutely. But it wasn't something that was brand new in terms of technology that was created. Now, there's also this whole horizontal thing. And if we go and look at it, horizontal changes are what happens when something is created that literally changes everything. And if
Right.
we go back to looking at that, one of those things would have been electricity, right? When
Yes.
electricity created, everything went from being fully man-powered to now something could power that thing. So
Hmm.
it wasn't people having to go out and completely dig trenches on their own. A machine could do that for them.
Right.
Now, if we go and look at the internet, that was another one of those things that changed everything because now there was a new way for people to connect. And if we go and look at this, this is one of those horizontal moments. I would say
Absolutely.
that this is our absolute revel not technology revolution, but it is the next industrial revolution that we're in. It is a
Yeah.
technological revolution that will change everything, which is
And
why
I
it's
think
so important for us to those days where we go back to kindergarten, figure out how we adapt and adjust because this is not something that is going to go away.
And I think the key thing here is that it's publicly available, right? You think about certain
Everyone.
rollouts, electricity was available originally just to certain pockets, and then slowly the cities got it, and then eventually some of the rural areas got it, but it wasn't massively available. Even the internet for the longest time wasn't broadly available. Like you'd hear people like, "Oh, we've got dial-up internet," and be like, "Oh, well, I don't even have a computer at home." Right? This is one of those things that now is widely available and people like immediately have the ability to jump on it. It's not like it's being held by a small group of people. Everyone can jump on it, and the rollout is so much quicker because of the technology that we have now, right?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. As a matter of fact, the other day, the governor of California, he was talking about how every home in California now can have broadband internet. And I was thinking, wait, hold on, broadband internet, that's like a thing that was super popular in the late 2000s, like
Yeah.
2008, 2009, and
Right.
now everyone has it. So that's a perfect example of it because now if you don't have fiber internet, you're like behind. And
Right. Yeah.
some of those rural areas, they've just now gotten broadband. And if we go and look at people like Elon Musk, who created Starlink,
Right.
that now has the ability to give everyone high speed, like instantaneous internet, no matter where they are in the entire world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a perfect example of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about it though, how long that took. Like we have had the internet now since the 1990s, and
Mhm.
yet we're still getting, again, people now getting broadband or people in the rural areas being able to connect. Whereas AI, anyone can go and connect to it now. Anyone can like basically sign up for an account, start using it right away. And that's the powerful thing. Now I want to take it back a little bit because, I know you for a little while now and I know some of your story. And you actually started before real estate in your career at Disney. Is that correct?
I did. I worked for the Walt Disney Company
And
back in
the
Southern
one thing about
California.
Walt Disney Company is that they've always been on the forefront of technological innovations, right? Whether it's film or you look at what they're doing with animatronics. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about how your experience with working with the Walt Disney Company has kind of positioned you just from whether it's a learning experience or whether it's how you developed to be able to now jump on this AI trend and kind of run with it. Like where do you find that some of that training kind of pushed over into what you've done in real estate, then obviously onto AI?
Well, that's a really good question, one I had not thought about. And the way that I would kind of look at it is one of the things that I admired and respected the most about the Disney company is it didn't matter if you were going to be a janitor at the Disney company or you were going to be the next CEO. Everyone started in the same room in the same class, and it was called traditions. And what was traditions at the Disney company? It was, here's who we are, here's why we have what we have, here's who created what we have, here's what our beliefs are, here's how we treat people, and here's ultimately what we want the experience for the people that walk through the gates of the happiest place on earth to be when they're there, right?
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for the way that they've managed that throughout all of these years, because it doesn't matter if you go to Disneyland in California or Disney World in Florida or Disneyland in Shanghai, you're going to get a very similar experience every place that you go because of the standards and the expectations that they put in place. Now,
Right.
how do we go back and incorporate that into AI? Well, every single one of us has a desire to achieve something. We don't just wake up in the morning and go to work for the sake of going to work, right?
Yeah.
We go to work for the sake of what it does for us, what it allows us to accomplish. And we're all at different places. For some of us, what it allows us to accomplish is our basic needs, food, shelter, and security. For some of us, what it allows us to accomplish is impacting the lives of other people. Well, I realized this, I don't know, probably 2015 or 2016. So before the AI conversation really came into play.
Yeah.
I started going really heavy into creating content for YouTube and doing things like that. Because what I realized then, and this kind of goes back into the personal story. My dad passed away at 51 years old back in 2012. And I never wanted to let an opportunity for experience ever get past me. And I wanted to connect with as many people as I possibly could, because my dad only had 51 years to do it. And if I was only going to have 51 years, by golly, I wanted to connect with as many people as I possibly could. And I realized YouTube was a way to do that. Well, I don't have the biggest YouTube channel in the world. I've got like 13,000 subscribers, yet since I started really focusing on that in 2015, I have been in front of people for 93 years worth of time. I'm 39 years old. It's impossible for me to have been in front of people that often.
Right.
Yet because I use the power of YouTube, my reach was able to connect with people I'll never meet.
For sure. For sure.
Now, pulling AI into that, it's going to take that opportunity and make it so much bigger.
Yeah. 100%, because you're going to be able to do it so much faster now, right? Between all the different tools that are available, we're not even talking just the LLMs, right? Editing software has gotten so much faster. Just graphic design, like Nano Banana, you need to create a graphic, great, Nano Banana's there, right? There's so much now that will allow you to achieve that mission of being in front of so many more people at a higher scale, because it's just going to increase the speed at which you can actually execute that, right?
And not just in front of those people, in front of each person in the way that they need to be connected with based upon who they are and what their learning style is.
Yeah.
Because everyone learns in different ways. I mean, there's four main ways, but if we go and look at that, AI can help us to create content geared specifically toward each of those groups of people, whereas my best way might be visual and presenting on video. There's other people out there that are avid and focused on learning through reading. Well, that's not my strong suit, but I can take all of the content that I create on video and have it transcribed in a way that it's going to impact the people who are focused on reading the content.
Exactly.
And so AI can really, really help us with that. But you made a really good point there of when you said it's not just about the LLMs, it's about all of the things that it can do for you.
Yeah.
And I kind of break AI down in this way. Like there's really four main platforms out there that I focus on. Number one is ChatGPT. Number two is Claude. Number three is Gemini. And number four, I do use Grok because I do drive a Tesla. And because I drive a Tesla, the stuff that I talk about in my car transfers over to Grok and all that good stuff. But when we go and look at that, and those four are not in any particular order. The way that I break it down for me is if it's relationship based, where I want to grow and where I want to develop and where I want to connect with other people, it's ChatGPT for me.
Right.
Because ChatGPT has, people have been using it the longest because it's been out there the longest. It was kind of the first to market.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. It was the first to market in a consumer-driven way. And so it has billions of conversations. And so it understands basic human needs, desires, and it's a really good way for you to be able to connect with people based upon who you are, because it knows you better than most of the other ones if you've been using it.
For sure.
So for communicating with people and for connecting with people, it's ChatGPT. If you want systems and building things, it's Claude all
Yeah,
day long.
100%.
Claude, I know very little about coding. As a matter of fact, my coding experience dates back to MySpace, when we all had to figure out how to code our MySpace,
Yeah.
and if we wanted songs to play when we went to a website, or when we went to a friend's MySpace, you could set that up, and you had to learn how to code to do that. And so that's pretty much the experience of my coding that I have. However, with Claude, I can give it an idea for a dashboard that I want to create for my clients and say, give me a tool that I can integrate directly into my website. And within a matter of 15 to 20 minutes, it's got that entire tool built out in HTML form and gives me the example of what it looks like. And then I can look at it again and say, okay, I like this, I don't like that, change this, add
Yeah.
this feature, and it'll do the whole thing for you. Or if you're looking to systematize your business, you can just share with it what the desired outcome that you have is, and it'll work backwards and say, okay, well, here's the features that you're going to really need to think about. So systems and building is Claude for me, and I think most people would probably agree with that.
I agree with that. Yeah.
If you're looking for video editing and images, Gemini is freaking amazing.
Yes.
It looks so realistic, and it can create some really amazing videos as well. And then Grok, here's the part that I think most people sleep on with Grok. They think it's just an AI engine. Grok is actually an AI engine that is going to be hardware focused. And here's why I say that. Because Tesla, and Tesla is a large owner of Grok,
Yeah.
although XAI is a separate company, but they're very much connected. Every single Tesla that is out there on the road is mapping every single drive that you do because you're giving it permission to do so.
Right.
And it has more data about maps and roads and infrastructure than Google has by far. So when you're looking for how will the real world be impacted on a daily basis from infrastructure and things like that, I see the government actually using AI with Grok more because it has more data about what's actually happening right on the ground that we walk on every single day.
Wow. Yeah, it's good. It's important to know. And I think that's where people don't understand how integrated AI has already become in our society, right? Like, just talking there, it is true because if you're driving, there's a lot of Tesla drivers out there. And if you're driving and Grok is taking all that feedback, yeah, it's going to store it and it's going to use it to be smarter. Cities and municipalities can all use that. Okay, we need to understand traffic patterns. Let's go to Grok. It's got the data. Do we need a new stoplight here, or are we good with a traffic circle or whatever they need to start to change their infrastructure, long-term planning just based on that data. That's a really interesting point that you bring up there. I mean, and for what I use Grok for, is it's really good at getting you, because people still use X a lot. If I want to be current and what's going on in my industry, Grok has
Yeah.
been the best source for me for news, which I can then take and put into, take some of those news articles. I have weekly, I have it feeding me news articles, and it's relevant to my business, relevant to the type of work that I do as an agent. And I take all those articles and I'll throw it into ChatGPT for coming up with ideas. And then for script writing, I bring it over to Claude afterwards. So, you start to develop these workflows. And I guess that goes into a question that I had, and you kind of answered it already, but let's kind of dive a little deeper on that. Should an agent really focus on one LLM, or do they need to be across multiple?
I think you should be across multiple in different ways. Now, if you want to be across multiple, but you want a simple solution, you can go with Perplexity, which is going to allow you to kind of be engaged in all four of the main ones. If you want to control and own your data directly and the conversations that you're having directly, I mean, it's to me, it's worth it to spend $100 a month and have a subscription for all of those things, and know that it's not sharing everything that I'm doing inside of it and giving all of that information away. If that's not important to you, then use something like Perplexity. There are some security things inside of Perplexity, but you're locking yourself into a long term use of Perplexity that way. And what's to say that one day something comes up where they're not able to integrate one of those LLM models inside of it? There's nothing that would prevent that from happening in the future. Because as a matter of fact, like if you go and look at some of the features for some of the places for Claude, there have been some companies out there that have said, hey, we're not going to automatically allow Claude to connect into our systems.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. But I'm a huge fan of having each individual one. Now, if there was one place that I would tell you to go get started if you're brand new to this whole thing and you're just now jumping in, I'm going to have to go with Gemini. And the reason why I'm going to say Gemini is Google is one of the world's largest companies.
Yep.
They are not going to lose. Their features may be a little bit different, but eventually all of the features that everyone else has, Gemini will have at some point in time too. So if I were going to start today and somebody said, hey, you really need to get on this AI train, go figure it out, I would start with Gemini. And most people don't realize it, but they've already pretty much got a subscription to Gemini if they have a Gmail account, or if the company that they're with is powered by the G Suite. Then they've probably already got the pro version of Gemini, and they just may not be utilizing it.
No, I agree with you. And at the end of the day, with Gemini and Google, with all the LLMs, really, they are all going to compete to try to, show the same value. Oh, like I'm waiting for OpenAI or Claude to announce how good their next update for like image and video generation is, because everyone's talking about Nano Banana. And it almost goes back to thinking about social media, right? Like let's take the AI out of it. When you think about the growth of social media, a lot of them are very, very similar now, right? Instagram has Reels because of TikTok, right? Instagram has Stories because of Snapchat. So whenever these companies see a new competitor that they can't acquire, they create something similar to it so they can compete for the audience's attention. And I think it's going to be very similar with a lot of the AI models. They're going to say, okay, Nano Banana's killing it. What are they doing in that code so we can create one better than it, so we get more of the Gemini users back to Claude or back to ChatGPT or what have you, right?
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like that old joke about. Like, I am very much an Apple guy, and I have an iPhone, but the joke is whenever iPhone comes out with a new feature, the Samsung people are like, "We had that 3 years ago," and so with that though, the AI models are some of them are like, well. ChatGPT had that 3 weeks ago, or Claude had that 3 weeks ago, and they're all adding those features as quickly as they possibly can because what are they doing? They're also competing for market share.
absolutely, absolutely. And we're still all waiting for our flip iPhones, right?
Allegedly, it's supposed to be in September. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about some of the use cases for agents in particular, and
Yeah.
specifically around buying back their time. Because if you're just using it to act like a Google, you could just still Google things, right? If you're like, okay, I want to get an answer quick, great. But where can agents start to implement AI to start buying back their time so they can focus on what matters the most? And that's obviously lead generation, going on appointments, everything else, getting rid of the minutia, especially like specifically the solo agents out there who don't have necessarily a TC or an EA or anything like that.
Number one thing is a solo agent that I would do, and I currently do, and I coach all of my people to do as well. If you're not using something like Otter AI or some kind of a transcription tool,
Yeah.
use that in every appointment that you're in. Obviously, do the disclosures that are necessary. And one of the ways that I like to put it is, hey, you know what, Cameron, consumer experience is very important to me. And I don't want to miss anything that we're going to cover in our conversation today. And one of the things that I've learned about myself is I'm really good at paying attention and I'm really good at writing notes, and I'm not good at doing both of those things at the same time.
Yep.
So I've got a AI transcription tool that's going to just record our conversation for the transcript, and that way I don't miss anything, and I'm making sure that I'm giving you the best possible experience. Is that okay with you this evening? I've
Sounds
yet
good
to
to
have
me.
one person tell me no.
And the funny thing is, I remember you talking about this at one of the most recent Glover U events. And first thing I did, downloaded Otter AI, and it is now part of my workflow. Like, even if I'm going and sitting in on, for example, Paulie's Monday Morning Mindset, I
Yep.
just listen to him and I put that on. So I'm not sitting there taking the notes and I go, oh, what did he just say for point number three? So that has been a huge, huge game changer that Scott had mentioned. I want to say like 6 months ago, and I was like, man, it makes so much sense. Now you can be super present with your clients and you're still not missing a single note. What did they say about the bathroom tile? What kind of tile was it? Okay, great. It's in the transcription. And then obviously from there, I mean, you're going to get these, Otter does summarize it, but you're going to get that full transcription. You can then throw that into ChatGPT or Claude or any one of them and have it come out with a whole plan of action for your listing at the like once you're
Yes.
done, right? It could be content you're going to create, videos, where you need to focus for what should be your hero shot for your listing, right?
Yeah,
So
what the timelines are going to look like, all that stuff. That's the number one thing that you should, as an individual agent, if you want to buy some of your time back and provide an even better experience, that quote unquote Disney experience.
yes,
You take that transcript and you drop it into whatever your preferred AI platform is, and you ask it to analyze that transcript, tell you the action items that you need to take, tell you the commitments that the consumer made, what the timelines need to be, and what things you need to be paying attention to along the way, and then have it write an email recapping that you can send to your clients, letting them know here's the things that we agreed to,
yeah,
and all of that stuff. Now, here's the thing where, like, if you really want to blow your mind, if you're going to do that and you do that in every single one of your appointments, 6 months from now, you can go back and you can go into that project or gem that you created where you put all of those things and you say, hey, acting as a marketing expert for me, analyze every appointment that I've had this year and tell me the top 10 things that people are asking me most. Okay.
yeah.
And
Next thing
then
you
put
know,
together a marketing plan for me around answering those top 10 questions.
yeah,
You could ask it, hey, what objections did I receive the most in all of my appointments? How could I be handling them differently than the way that I'm currently handling them?
hmm,
It has so much data. It's literally like you, Cameron, hiring a $250,000 a year consulting company
yes.
to follow you into every single one of your appointments and help you be better.
Yeah. And then what's cool about that too is like as that marketer, you've got that marketing tool now, that person, and I quotations, that person now going to give you a full marketing plan. You can create content around all of that. So that could lead to, okay, top questions I get asked. Someone might have that question. They go, oh, he just answered my question on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. I'm going to reach out to him because that's a question I had. He knows what he's talking about. You could create marketing plans for ads based on that, right? Whether it's some sort of a value ad that you can give away. Download my top guide based on XYZ, staging tips, how to sell your house faster, top restaurants to go to because you've been out at all these restaurants and you kept a log of it through your LLM. So yeah, no, I mean, there's so much that people can do with that, and it kind of leads me into another one of my questions is like, how do we start thinking about like automation of some of our workflows as agents? Like what can we do to actually put that into place so we take some of that where we just plug it in once and it starts rolling? What are some tactics? What are some other tools maybe that we should be looking at?
Yeah, so I mean, number one, if you're not utilizing it in either ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, use projects or gems. In ChatGPT and Claude, they're called projects. In Gemini, it's called a gem, and that's you creating a project. Now, if we want to go one layer on top of that, you can create an AI agent, which is something that's just constantly working for you behind the scenes. So I've got a couple of different AI agents. I've got a few of them. One of them is for marketing and advertising. It's studying every single competitor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and looking for the things that are trending, where they're winning, what they're doing well, and what I need to consider making adjustments on in my business to keep me ahead of them. My wife and I also own a company in Southern California. It's a soils engineering company that she inherited from her dad. It's actually her brother and sister that own it as well. I have an AI agent that analyzes all of the financials, that's paying attention to everything that's going on inside of that business all the time. And I can ask it at the drop of a hat, hey, where are we at year to date for profitability? What are our financials currently looking like? Where do we have unnecessary exposure that we shouldn't necessarily have? What are the changes that we should be considering making? Giving it all of that data. As an agent, you can have it set up to schedule appointments for you. You can set it up to where if somebody calls in, there are actually some very good companies out there that you can plug in a actual AI voice companion on there. There's a company called High IQ that I really like. It was founded by one of the former, somebody who was really high up at Microsoft on their voice creation side of things at Microsoft. It's very intuitive, and for most people, they would never know they're talking to a robot. But things like that.
That's a key thing these days. People are always
Yeah.
asking, is this a bot? Is this a bot? I actually had a client because I was sending out like texts, which I was trying to make sure were personalized, but
Yeah.
I still had the key information that I wanted to just copy and paste. My client sent back, is this a bot? I go, no, it's not a bot, but people are starting to like worry about these things, right? So
Yeah.
having the right tools that can sound more human is going to be key as well.
Yeah, and what's funny is I actually on my Instagram account I use MiniChat on there,
Hmm.
and what was funny is somebody had posted something the other day, comment this word, and I'll send you this thing, and it was somebody who I follow on their AI stuff, and so I commented that word, and then all of a sudden my MiniChat took over the conversation, and it was their bot and my bot having a conversation with each other, asking me about my business, and I was asking him about his business, and I finally ended up sending him a message, and I was like, "Hey, man, I think our bots have been talking to each other. We got a good kick out of it." But yeah, I mean that is a risk that you run, and if you're going to use any of those programs out there, use some of the customization features so that as soon as somebody sends a message, it's not auto responding instantly. Delay it a little bit,
Yeah.
because that delay actually shows more likely that you're a human. Even though you're not, it's still more likely to the individual to come across as, okay, they actually took time on this. Or if you have it commenting on things or responding to comments that people have made on some of your content, delay it 45 minutes to an hour so that
Hmm.
it's not just an instant response, because number one, an instant response is a red flag for this is absolutely a bot.
For
Number
sure.
two, if it's an instant response like that, the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook are going to suppress that content even more, because now it knows that it's not a real person that is responding to the stuff. So
Yeah.
if you actually delay it, it will help you with your algorithms and staying relevant,
Hmm.
even more so.
And then that's always the interesting thing, and that's where I mean we could go down a whole rabbit hole. That's a whole other discussion. Is like understanding algorithms and how to do best practices. And we don't have time like on a 40-minute podcast at the end of the day, but it's one of those things that if you guys are getting inspired listening to Scott and saying, okay, I got to start doing more. I got to start learning this. I got to start figuring this out at a higher level. Give me a couple tactics where people can start to say like I've only ever, like I said, used it to write listing descriptions. Where should I start to learn how to use AI? Is there like a specific YouTuber you should be following? Is there a tactic that will help me start to understand AI at a higher level and start to expedite my education in it so that we can get out of kindergarten again?
there are a ton of YouTubers and things like that out there that are experts or call themselves experts. And we've got to remember, same thing in the podcast world and everything like that. Everyone in the world now is an expert as long as they have an internet connection, a camera, a microphone, and a computer, right?
You're right.
Here's the advice that I would actually give people. Use AI to tell you how to be better.
Yeah.
Go into whatever program it is and just say, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. Whatever business that you're in, and just say, here's where I want to get better.
Yes.
Can you help me with that? How can you help me with that? What should I do today? I'm willing to spend 5-10 minutes every single day on AI. What action plan would you give me over the next 30 days to get better at this and to see blank results? And guess what? It will tell you. It'll break it down. You can even then say, hey, you know what? That sounds too complex for me. Make it simpler. And it will make it simpler.
Now talk to me like I'm in kindergarten.
Yes, the way that I do it for explaining what's going on in the market, and actually one of the ways that I like to use AI personally is we all have school board meetings and stuff like that, or city council meetings, and if you've ever been to one of those, it's a really good place to put yourself to sleep. And so I don't attend those anymore, but the community values the insight on it. And so what I do is I'll take the transcript from the YouTube channel that the school board has. I'll grab that transcript. I'll drop it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and I'll say, break this down for me at a 6th grade reading level in a way that is going to connect with individuals and share with them what the highlights of the school board meeting were today.
Yeah.
My content for our local community ranks higher than the actual school board for the school board meeting because I've put it out there in a way that everyone can understand it.
And the thing is too, is it doesn't take you much time to do that because you're a busy individual, and now you've got all these tools. You can now rank, you can show that you're an expert in the community with the school board, and that's got to drive.
I don't even do it anymore. I have an AI agent that does it for me.
Of course. There you go. And that's the key. That's how you start to buy back your time, making yourself more available to do the stuff that Scott talked about, right? At the very beginning, spending more time with family, enjoying life, getting experiences, because you can actually gain all that back. You can actually produce more than you used to with AI now than what we did even 3 years ago. And that's incredible. And I think Scott, you've, again, while you might say you're not an expert, and we all agree that none of us are experts the minute the next LLM comes out, you're somebody who's been actively learning this constantly. You're a constant learner. And that's why I felt it was going to be valuable for our audience here to listen to you, because we have a lot of real estate agents. We've got a lot of investors, business professionals in general who listen. And I think people are still scared because they're not getting the value that they think through AI. And I think the biggest problem, and I want you to speak to this a little bit, is people haven't taken the time to understand how to get out of AI what they want, right? They're still prompting it with very, very basic questions, like, asking it a 5-word question, getting a basic response and saying, well, this doesn't work. And yet there's people out there like Scott who've done all of this, built it. So what's something from I'm kind of leaning toward the prompting perspective, but if you have a better response to this, let me know. What should people start doing if they want to get more value out of the AI so that they can really dive into how you've done that way?
Use the different models against each other. No, seriously.
True.
If you're looking to get a really amazing prompt for Claude, and ChatGPT knows you, ask ChatGPT for the prompt you should use for Claude to get what your vision is. If
Yes.
you're looking to get something on the relationship side of things out of ChatGPT, and you know what the vision is, you're just not quite sure how to articulate it, ask one of the AI models, okay, here's what my vision is. What should I be asking? Now, there's websites out there. There's one called Prompt Cowboy that I'm fairly familiar with that you can use to where you just describe what it is you're looking to do, and it will give you here's a prompt that you should consider using for Gemini. Here's one you should use for ChatGPT. Here's one you could use for Grok. Here's one you can use for Claude, and it'll do that for you. Um, and here's the thing that you can do. If it's not what you're looking for, just go back and say, hey, that's not quite what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Let's change this. Talk to it just like you would a coworker, a
Yeah.
coworker that you like. And talk to it like you would a coworker that you have a good relationship with,
Yeah.
and
Good point.
and you'll get the results that you're looking for
Yes.
simply by even prompting it. Hey, ask me some questions about what I should be doing, about what I'm looking for, and then it will start asking you questions and come up with the outcome that you're looking for simply by understanding more. That whole saying, just like with a database, garbage in, garbage out. If you give it a terrible prompt, you're going to get a terrible answer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
100%.
which one of them you're using.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, that's not quite what I'm looking for, ask me a few more questions about it. It will ask you questions, and then it will start to give you more of the answer that you're looking for. It's
Yeah.
going to take a few times. It's not going to be perfect right away.
And,
And
and I think that's the important part there, because what I hear a lot from agents is they ask it once, don't like the answer, and then they move on from it, right? And it's
yeah,
understanding that while this is an incredible technology that we have, it's not perfect yet, and sometimes it is user error. If you give it a bad prompt, it's going to give you a bad answer. And I think people are such in this world now that we have accustomed that's instant gratification. They want the answer
hmm
on the spot, and they're not
yeah,
willing to spend the extra 30 seconds that it could take to go back and forth with it to make sure that they've got what they need to impact a sale or impact their business. And we're not saying, okay, what you used to do for hours at a time, spend the extra 30 seconds to have the conversation, right?
yeah. I mean, shoot, if I gave up the first time I asked my wife to go on a date with me, I wouldn't be married and I wouldn't have two kids now. But I didn't give up at that. I took a little bit of extra time and found other ways to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with AI. You may not get the exact answer you're looking for the first time. You may get a little bit frustrated with it.
Yeah.
If you go and look at my chat GPT or my Claude, especially the last couple of days, you'll see in there that there were times where, like, hey, you know what, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm getting a little frustrated with the process,
Yeah.
and I literally told it that. And then it would say, okay, help me understand what you're looking for. What do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? And it asks me the questions. It
Yeah.
will ask you that. It wants to help you.
Yes.
You just have to give it a little bit more time. John Maxwell says everything worthwhile is uphill. And here's the thing. If 30 seconds is going to make it or break it for you, chances are you weren't going to make it to begin with if you couldn't spend the extra 30 seconds to be more clear with the prompt you were looking, or with the result you were looking for.
If
If
you
you're
guys
that
are
far
listening
behind,
to this,
it's
rewind
not
what
worth
he just said and listen to that again. Because
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah. I mean, that extra 30 seconds is going to be the difference in a subpar product and a world-class product.
100%.
Just take the time.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more on that. And it's one of those conversations now in my office. I'm getting classified as the expert. Like next thing you know, I'm going to be doing a talk at a real estate board about AI and everything. And I don't know how I got into this position besides the fact that I just started using the tools and figuring them out and understanding exactly what Scott was saying. Like if you don't have the time to have a proper conversation to get the output that you require, then there's other issues that you're facing in your business as well. I mean, you can, yeah, and this is where I say It's the AI agent advantage. The agents who truly embrace this technology, they're going to be the ones that are going to get further ahead, because it all comes down to the fact that if you're buying back your time, you're able to save, on the minutia. A little example of this, and it's funny that you said have the AI train the other AI. Like if you need something from Claude, ask ChatGPT to create it. We're using Manus right now to start doing some AI
Mhm.
agent work for us. And I was getting so frustrated because with Manus, you have your credits, right? And I'm like, I either keep topping up my credits and it keeps getting burnt, or I went to Claude, said, this is the problem I'm having where we're burning credits. Help me fix that problem. It goes, oh, yeah, based on everything you've shown me, you just got to like change the prompt this way. It gave me the full new prompt, put it out there. And I basically, in one task that takes us, our admin, around 3 hours a day, where it's like our listing feedbacks. Okay, go through all the listing feedbacks we've got back, get all the open house feedback, let our clients know, because in the market today, listings aren't selling in a week, so we do have to actually keep our clients updated. Three
Yeah.
hours of scrubbing data, now down to 5 minutes on a Manus prompt, because now I just have to every day say run Monday's schedule, and it goes boom. Here's all your feedback. So no, I think that's the key, is it's just spending the time learning it. And if you're getting frustrated, I love that. Go to the other one, say what you're frustrated about. It will then program your other one for you. Scott, I really do appreciate your time, and I don't want to hold you up for too much longer. We've had a great conversation, and I'm sure we could probably geek out on this probably all day. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll save it to another the Glover U retreat. I want some final thoughts though. Give me, like, speaking as a coach now, speaking as somebody who works with so many agents, you've probably had this conversation. What is one final piece of advice that you have for agents who like, just to really hopefully inspire them to take that next step and really embrace what the future is going to hold with AI?
You got into real estate or whatever business you're in to say yes to something bigger for yourself. There is now a tool out there that can help you make that happen faster than ever before. And the only way that that happens is by slowing down a little bit in order to speed up faster. Sometimes we have to slow down to speed up, and it can be frustrating, just like hiring a person into your business. Normally, you go backwards a little bit for 90 days, and then you go forward faster than you ever have before. You only have to spend 5 to 10 minutes a day on this to get really good, to be able to plug things in and do things differently. I'll leave you with one last case study that I actually did 2.5 weeks ago. Well, 3.5 weeks ago now. I co-listed a property in Southern California. We received 17 offers on that one property. Okay. Now, yeah, for people out there who are saying, well, the market's not moving, if you price it right, everything moves. I promise you.
Absolutely.
And we had it was either 16 or 17 offers on that property. What would have taken me 3 hours to go through every single one of those offers, put it in a spreadsheet, and go through all of that, I used Gemini. The reason I use Gemini is really good with images. It's really good at reading images. It's really good at reading PDFs. And I created a prompt that says, explain to me these different things for every single one of the offers. And then I uploaded in Google Drive offer 1, offer 2, offer 3, all the way through offer 17. Okay. And I said, analyze all of this and put it in a spreadsheet for me that is easy for me to explain to my client, even showing them what they'll net with each one of these offers. Cameron, in 3 minutes, it went through every single one of those offers and spit a spreadsheet out that covered all of them and analyzed all of them. And then it even went further and it did something I didn't even ask it to do. It told me what it thought were the strongest offers.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Incredible.
And then because I wanted to make sure that it was all right, I went back through and I checked those things.
Yeah.
It was 100% accurate. Okay. So I took a task that would have taken me 3 hours and compressed it down to 3 minutes. And now my clients are like, how did you get that done so fast?
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to share with him, well, you don't just get me, you get all of the people that work with me, and you get all of the technology that I
Equals all the tech.
apply to my business.
Yeah.
And so it can take some of these mundane tasks that we have to do and compress them down to a fraction of the time that it took before.
Yes.
And guess what? I didn't figure out how to do that on my own. I asked ChatGPT what I
Mhm.
should, no, not ChatGPT. I asked Gemini, what should I do in this situation? I've got all these offers. And it said, upload each of them into a separate folder in your Google Drive, connect your Google Drive, and tell me exactly what you're looking for. And I will tell you what's going on.
And it does it.
Yep.
That's it's incredible what we have at our disposal now. And if you're not using it, then guys, we got nothing for you at the end of the day. I mean, the agents who embrace this technology, if you're watching or listening to this and you're still struggling, just go over to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever, and just start having some conversations with it. And you will find in a matter of minutes, you will start to understand how to use AI at a higher level because it will tell you. And if you're still scared of it, you're still concerned, oh no, it's going to take the jobs, oh no, it's going to do this, then keep doing what you're
Stop
doing.
looking at it as AI, start looking at it as your business partner.
Exactly. Exactly. Scott, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for all the insights that you dropped here. I know that we're going to have so many clips from this podcast alone with all the advice that you've given. I thank you for your time. Also, if anyone wants to connect with you, Scott, what's the best way that they can connect with you?
Yeah, they can just visit my website, scotttolar.com, SCOTTTOLAR.com, /links, LINKS. And it has all the links to my different social media and all that good stuff on there. And Cameron, my only ask is that when you post all these clips, you add me as a collaborator on them.
Absolutely. You betcha I will. And, as somebody who's been a Glover U student, someone who's gone to a lot of the Glover U events, in fact, I've got my Live Unreal
I
hat
see your
sitting
hat right there,
here.
yeah.
I would recommend, guys, we've been a big fan of Glover U, and we're not sponsored by Glover U. This is not a sponsored the shout out, but I highly recommend you guys check out gloveru.com as well. And Scott's going to be at the retreat, I'm assuming, in June.
In Traverse City, yes.
Traverse
I'm
City.
actually going to be on the road tomorrow and teaching Sales Rocket in New York on Wednesday. So,
Oh, fantastic. So that'll be one of your chances, guys, to go and see Scott live at one of those events. And of course, that's your opportunity to meet him and potentially hire him as a coach if that leads down it. Scott's been coaching some of my good friends, and I can only say I hear nothing but great things. And as somebody who's been in a lot of his classes, I can highly recommend Scott. So Scott, again, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
thanks for the opportunity, Cameron. Have a great day.
You too. And guys, that is it for the podcast today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way this far, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. What was your biggest takeaway from Scott's episode here, Scott's interview? Are you guys going to start using AI? And also, if you guys would like a tool to help you guys start streamlining your content creation and buying back your time, I highly recommend using the program Descript. I've been using Descript to edit a lot of my videos, including this podcast, and it's allowed me to buy back so much of my time because with its AI editing tools, I can edit this 45, 50-minute podcast in a matter of a half an hour, whereas it used to take me 8 hours to do something like this. So check out Descript, and if you check out the first link in the description below, you're going to get the creator plan for the first 2 months for 50% off if you use my link in the description below. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.